Welcome to A Pinch of Basil. I am your host, and I am live. That's right. Yeah, you guys had without me for a couple of weeks. I know most of you have been, going, oh my God, I'm getting basil withdrawals. And I understand completely. But if you're joining us right now on Facebook, thank you so much. Don't forget, you can call in right now at 844-790-8255. That's 844-790-8255. This is indeed a pinch of basil. Besides our live stream on Facebook, you can listen on the americamatters.us and on the TuneIn app from your phone or tablet. Just search America Matters. That's all you got to do. You have no excuses. I told everything for you people. If you're not listening, it's your fault. And if you're not watching us, it's double your fault. I'm here with my ever so beautiful co-host, Janice Hermson. And of course, we could not do this without the computer infiltrator that I know and love, Craig Moss, who goes in and just takes apart my computer. God knows. God, I hope. Did you find any porn yet? That's all I'm asking. Okay. And on the other hand, I'm in a secret. They're in wonderful Reno, Nevada. And Craig, Janice, I missed you guys. I haven't been around for like 2 weeks without you. You guys are playing the best of. And then, me, I'm in my little bunker, as it were. Can you say it again?
Mm-hmm. I heard it.
No, I didn't hear that. Okay, I just heard some muffling. For those of you, Janice, how are you? Did you miss me?
Absolutely.
Did you really?
Absolutely. Yes, of course.
I mean, the sincerity
Tuesdays were
reeks.
not the same without you.
I know, and I understand. I say after this show, we all drink some grape Kool-Aid.
Ah. Yeah, we'll
I'm
have
sorry.
some
I
fun.
think that's what, folks. I don't know if we can talk about that because Janice and especially Craig, who's he's got that potty mentality like I do. We start talking stuff, and Craig is actually Mr. Fun Facts, to be quite honest with you. And I'm willing to try something just to check out to see if his fun facts are actually accurate. And Craig says it's true. This one thing can be and will happen. Is it not true, Craig?
It is true. It will either be white or green.
Oh, all of a sudden you pulled green.
Green.
Is that for?
Yeah,
Is that-
because if it's Kool-Aid with sugar, it's one color. If
I
it's
gotcha.
grape juice, it's the other color.
Mm. So we're all going to run out and drink some grape juice to excess.
Hey, Kool-Aid man! Oh yeah.
Grab your Kool-Aid. Let's see what color yours is. Report
Yeah.
in.
I will definitely report that. Hey, I don't even have my clock in front of me. Am I supposed to not have a clock anymore? I just
You
want to
never
make sure
get a
that we're not
clock
running out of
anymore.
time.
No.
I am trying to type to your guest, so you won't have a clock until I'm done typing to your guest.
I
There
love
you
my
go.
guests. Okay. We do have a fantastic guest. Pamela will be with us. Pam Pappas, who's actually a phenomenal story. Talk about someone who is just unbelievable and the accomplishments that she has made. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But again, you can follow me on Basil Fans on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We have, like I said, awesome guests, Pamela Pappas. She, 2011, she climbed Mount Everest. She climbed 6 of the major 7 actual mountains. And I met her a few years ago. I was hosting the Pan-Icarian Convention in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And she was the guest speaker. And I must say, she is lovely on the inside and out. And for a woman like that to do what she has done, I'll tell you what, that's just fantastic. I'm not going to say anything else.
I am looking forward to hearing about how she trained for this because she has some unique information. If anybody is interested and doesn't live near mountains, she'll tell you how to do it. That's for sure.
Evidently, she must hold her breath and run 5 miles until she breathes or something like that.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're right. I'm
I know
positive
I'm
that,
right. There's
yeah.
no I'm sure I'm right. I know I'm right. We got some wonderful shows coming up, folks. I know this is going to come across backwards, I think. I'm not too sure. But the Spice Boy, the Greek Spice Boy cometh UK tour. That's right. We're announcing my UK tour. I
But
leave.
he didn't invite me. I just want everyone to know. I was not invited.
Well, let me tell you something. You're always invited. Doesn't matter where I go. October 2nd, I'll be in Birmingham, wonderful Birmingham, England. Then I'll be in Bristol on the 3rd, Beckenham on the 4th. I'll be in London on the 6th, and Nottingham, where I'll be wearing my green tights because I'm drinking the wrong kind of Kool-Aid. I will be at all those cities with my wonderful opening act, Chris Marco K. So UK, we're announcing it formally now. All the information will be put up on the website, and also it'll be out there. You can go and check us out, and we're very excited about this.
Very. I think it's cool.
It's really, really cool. It's we're doing something that's going to be a hybrid show of a little bit of my Greek and non-Greek show all shoved together. We're trying to experiment to film a special. And so we're very, very excited. I got some news, and I don't want to break that news until it's confirmed. So I have my agent working on it right now. So it's going to be something very, very wonderful. We're going to, in a bit, take a break, but we have other people coming on as well. And the thing is, the actual wonderful guests that we have here are fantastic that come on to the show. And Janice has done a wonderful job bringing these guests in. And thank you, Janice, for doing that. You just phenomenal. And we're going to take care of this Mark Goodson story when we come back from the break. Is that cool with you?
It's cool with me.
Okay. And if there's anything else right now, we're going to go ahead and we got to do
You're
that.
You're just stumbling and fumbling, aren't you?
No, I am a stumbling and a fumbling. And
You're
we're going to take
tired man today. We're going to give you a break.
Yeah, it's all right. And call us at 844-790-8255. But listen, we got to do that sponsor thing. So we're going to be right back after a few of our messages. And, I love you. You're listening to A Pinch of Basil. What else can you be want?
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now, back to the show.
Oh, we are indeed back. You're listening to A Pinch of Basil all around the world. You can tune in on the radio app and find America Matters or listen live every week at americamatters.us. If you miss any part of this show, you'll find them under podcasts under the site A Pinch of Basil, or on Facebook on the Basil page. I have a lot of my fans that are listening right now. Nick Furious, I love you, bro. I really do. 13-1. You guys are the Jacksonville. What's the Jacksonville's team? What's the team name, Nick? Let me know what the team name is, because I'll tell you what, I am so proud. This is a good friend of mine who was supposed to be managing me, by the way, and he's got more other interesting things that he's doing. But, indoors, football and this and that. And, it's the Sharks. Watch the Jacksonville Sharks. 13-1, unbelievable. Good friend of mine is the co-owner of them, and I'm real proud of you, Nick. And for all the people who are out there, love you guys. Listen, speaking of sharks, 2 shark attacks on the coast of Florida yesterday. Is that what I heard? Did I hear that correctly?
I don't know. You must have. If you heard it, you heard it.
Yeah, I heard. Evidently, well, see, I'm afraid to go in the water because a shark sees me thinking, bam, buffet.
You must be. Really, my husband is exactly the same way. He said, no way is he going in the water.
No,
I think Basil's bigger phobia is being on the beach sunbathing and the people pushing him back in.
Might have been John's too.
Really, Greg? We're gonna go there?
Could have been.
Pushing me back in. Look, just because it happened 5 times before doesn't mean that it'll happen again. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Anyway.
Can I tell
you?
All
right. Go ahead. You were saying?
Oh, no. I was just commenting that my husband has the same fear.
Yeah. Ever since Jaws came out, I was always frightened a little bit that something was going to tug on me. And, I love these shark experts. Well, they really don't like flesh and stuff like that. Yeah. Have you talked to them? Did you really get that answer from them? Have you ever had a shark and you hear doo-doo, doo-doo?
Yep, there it is. They play that music every time. I hear it.
Yeah, I hear it as I'm in the water and I'm in a pool. I hear it, though. I'm telling you, I know what these sharks do. I tell you what, I'm a little bit frightened. Ever since Jaws, it destroyed me. And Shark Week comes on, and I think, is it this week that's Shark Week?
I am so out of
Yes,
the
it
loop.
is.
Yes, if
Is it
Craig
Shark
says
Week?
so, then it is.
I am petrified when I see these stories, and he goes, "Oh no, unless they think you're a seal." All right, look, I know. I don't. Do I look like a seal? Craig, don't answer that. Anyway, listen, we are just waiting to hear back on some of the people here. Can we talk about Marjorie Goodson?
We could talk about her if you'd like. Sure.
I would like to. She's an artist, a dancer, a philanthropist, the daughter of the late Mark Goodson, creator and producer of the most popular TV game shows of the 20th century, including Family Feud, where my good friend Steve Harvey is the host of The Price is Right, Match Game, To Tell the Truth, Beat the Clock. Mark Goodson was noted philanthropist, and Cedars-Sinai Medical Center named one of its building in his honor after he donated $5 million. God bless him. And so if we can get, you think we can get his daughter on?
We are working on that. I'm just waiting for an answer back.
Yeah, I wonder if she was involved, in the infancy of some of these games.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear.
Oh my God, I would love to hear how they came up with some of that stuff. I really mean that a lot. What's going on in the news? Anything happening?
I think you are oblivious. I can say that. You can't hear that?
I can hear it.
You're just ignoring it all.
Why?
If I wish we had a camera on Craig right now, because he's like,
why? Why
it's so funny.
Yeah, it's not funny. When I hear that song, parts of my body go inside my body cavity. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't notice you reacting badly.
Oh,
I
trust
thought
me,
you did just
reacting.
fine.
Yeah, I did, and you know that as well. I don't. Thank you very much, Greg. I appreciate that. Okay. Does anyone else have a phobia that I should know about? Are there any phobias that you have, Janice?
I wouldn't tell you.
Why not? Where's the love?
Because the last time I told you about something, I never heard the end of it. And when we were on air, you talked about it. And I'm not going to say what it is again because then you'll just discuss it more.
Devastated. Devastated.
You should be.
If you people have a phobia, I want to know about it. You can call in right now at 844-790-8255 or text us. Janice, what is that text number?
Oh, it is 775-237-2266, and you should text us now. What is your phobia so that Basile can pick on you the way he picked on me?
I did not pick on you.
You?
No. Craig, did I pick on her?
Oh, he's not going to answer you now. Look at that.
Yeah. What a conversationalist he is. Okay, that's great.
He made a nice little sound effect for you. You just weren't paying attention.
I think I know what the sound effect
here
was.
We have one. Hessleek says spiders. Ooh,
spiders, arachnophobia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter has that.
Arachnophobia?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Spiders don't really gross me out unless it's like the ones when you're in the middle of the forest and there's you're walking between trees and there's that huge web with that one ugly looking spider. I hear the rain falling. Right in the middle. You know what? When we ever gave him that sound effect machine,
He's having so much fun.
Oh, I'm sure he's having great fun. Yeah, it's another thing I don't do, folks. Camping. You put you gotta
be kidding.
I'm sorry.
Man.
Nope. You put a Hilton in the middle of the forest, we'll go camping.
You and April Kempler, my other co-host on my show, April Kempler, went camping, and it was like a hotel. There was no real camping going on.
I want to be pampered. I do not want to rough it.
Yep.
Rough it to me is warm beer and wet toilet paper.
I'm sorry. Pampers aren't big enough, Basile. You need Depends.
Okay, that's two.
Oh, man. He's going to get you for sure.
It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. But sooner or later, you have to close your eyes. And when you do, I will pounce. And when I pounce, I don't screw around. Jesus.
Well, I can tell you that my husband doesn't like grasshoppers. Grasshoppers are just horrible for him.
Really? How about that story about in Las Vegas?
I know.
They're inundated with grasshoppers.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I saw that, and I told him, I said, good thing we're not there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
it's
it was
terrible.
bad.
I mean, they must getting in your hair, inside your clothes, all the. Oh, I can't.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to hate grasshoppers not to like that, right?
Yeah.
Or is that grasshoppers, or are they a plague of locusts? Because they both act the same way and fly the same, jump and fly the same way.
Is there really a difference between the two different species?
Are they in the same? Are they in the same species?
Same type of species, but it could be a horde of locusts.
Could be. There's that plague, right?
And it's going to start in Vegas, maybe. This makes sense to me all of a sudden.
It won't make it here, trust me.
Hey, I want to send out kudos to a good friend of mine who's going to be on America's Got Talent, Greg Morton. He's going to be on there tonight for the second round of the Judge's Choice. And Greg, I'm very, very proud of him. America's Got Talent. He'll be on tonight. Watch him. Very, 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 very funny cat, and one of the most sweetest individuals I've ever met. Not only is he extremely funny like me, but he actually has a warm, wonderful heart, and love the guy. So I'm wishing him and all of his fan base a wonderful, wonderful good luck for tonight. Anything other stories? Do we have any more phobias? I have a phonophobia.
Phone your phobia?
Phone my phobia
I don't see any more phobias coming up here.
Yeah, Father, all right, I got a friend of mine who's a priest, Father Elias George Villas, been asking me who does my hair. And if you ask him, before you can pick on me, you must have hair to pick on someone's hair. Just saying. Just saying. Oh, my God. All right. Let me see what else we got. Let me see a glue. Oh, did you hear? Tell them about the story about the glue cylinder.
Oh, the one where the German company, they suspended a truck for 1 hour so that they could reach this Guinness World Record, right? And an adhesives company in Germany set a new Guinness World Record when its heavy-duty glue kept a 37,919-pound truck suspended over the ground for an hour, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So the company, DELO, applied its glue to an aluminum cylinder about the size of a soft drink can and attached it to a crane. The glue cylinder was then able to lift the truck more than 3 feet off the ground where it was suspended for an hour. They said the glue was developed especially for the attempt and its high temperature resistance. How about that?
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
To actually, wow, man. I'll tell you what, that's, that gorilla has nothing on this.
I know, I was going to say, we could use that glue for some of our books, That'd be cool.
You know what?
Don't let school kids get it. Their insides will be all...
We'll be in trouble.
Yeah, they'll eat it.
Big trouble.
You remember those kids that would eat glue, the rubber cement?
Yep.
Do you remember those kids in school?
Yeah, were you one of them?
No, I wasn't one of them.
Hey,
the paste that looked like curdled cheese or cottage cheese, yeah.
Oh my God, I think it's terrible. Anyway, listen, folks, we're going to be right back. And our second half, we're going to be with our wonderful guest, Pamela and Pappas. So stick right tuned. We're going to give you right back with some of our sponsors. Take care.
Now back to the show.
Oh, we are back on A Pinch of Basile. Don't forget, I am streaming this live on Facebook, but I'm probably screwing it up one way or another. It doesn't really matter. You can also listen on the TuneIn app or on any phone or device. Once you have the app, just search America Matters. And if you are on your computer, go to americamatters.us. If you want to comment, go to my Basile fans page on Facebook. Twitter, Instagram, you can do that. Just go to Basile Fans, BASILEFANS, or you can call 844-790-8255. You can also text Janice. And Janice, one more time for that number, please.
775-237-2266.
And now it's time, and I'm so happy to have her. I've been dying to get her on this show for some time now. In May of 2011, Pamela Pappas, or Pam Pappas, became the 20th American woman and the 132nd woman overall to summit Mount Everest. That means to climb to the top of Mount Everest. Through some other climbers are drawn by the challenge and notoriety of what they see as conquering the mountain, Pam climbs out of the affection and respect and the majesty and the power of Mother Nature, which is pretty interesting to having a different, complete attitude. Every mountain tests your strength in a different way and to different degrees. Pam sees it as a privilege. She is a graduate of Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and she is a member of the Pan-Icarian, proud member of the Pan-Icarian Brotherhood of America. When she's not climbing, Pam works as a nuclear pharmacist. That's when your pills glow a little bit. Glow, okay. Wow, Pam, thanks for joining us on A Pinch of Basile. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Oh, honey, we're so fine. We are so fine. Thank you so much for being on this show. I was actually taken by you at the Pan-Icarian Convention about 3 years ago, when you were the guest speaker at the convention. And not only you lovely on the inside, but on the out. But I was so taken by the accomplishments that you made. And thanks for being on this show. And my God, all right, Janice has a question because this has been burning. And we were talking about this off here and on here. Go ahead, Janice.
What was my question?
You were asking her, how the hell do you train?
Oh, that question. I was like, what are you talking about?
We kept talking about
I was giving you that question.
I told her, I said, you run 3 miles holding your breath. And I told her that's basically.
I was saying that I thought, when in our discussion, Pam, you were telling me about your training, and I was telling people that even if you don't live in a place that has mountains, that you could do that you're going to give them some great tips on how to be able to train.
Okay, so you want to know what really happens?
Yeah. Tell us what.
No, I want you to lie to us, Pam. Lie to us.
So,
yeah, don't do the Basile thing.
I live in Florida. It's really hot here. It's the opposite temperature. The humidity of the air is all different. And of course, there's nothing here to summit. So I had to come up with some things on my own, and my friends helped me too. So one of the things I was doing was sleeping with ice packs. So I would roll ice packs up in towels and sleep with them all over my body to mimic the cold weather that I was going to be in. I was doing some training in coolers. I was taking my backpack and going to the ocean and walking against the waves, and then walking back along the sand, and then just doing that for hours and hours and hours. I lived in quite a tall building, so I was able to climb the stairs with my heavy pack. I was doing the ladder training. I don't know if you've seen the ladders that span the crevasses on Everest, but so I was taking those ladders and putting them on cement blocks in my parking lot, and using weights to mimic the wind. And then probably the thing that probably helped me the most was that I was doing most of my training through a sippy straw, so I started with a scuba mask, or a scuba mask. Mm-hmm. And then I would close the aperture until I got to the aperture of a sippy straw. And that would mimic being anaerobic, because you don't want to be aerobic, you want to be anaerobic. So you want to be able to survive with very little oxygen.
Wow. And that to me, that's amazing. I mean, I'm an ex-ball player, but I never, ever got to that point where I did it, and because that is some serious training, and to be able to do that, just fantastic. What really drew you to climbing? I mean, this is not something that you wake up in the morning when you're a little kid and go, hey, I think I want to climb Mount Everest one day. What got you there?
It's funny because Everest was never really a goal for me. So I started I love the outdoors. I love spending, nights in my tent. I love the woods. So most of it started just with my love of the woods. And then I started through hiking, which is having all your gear on your back for several days and you're totally self-contained. And then I took a trip with some people here from Tampa to a mountain in Mexico called Pico de Orizaba. And it was everything. It was travel, it was the outdoors, and then it was this idea of the adrenaline of summiting a mountain too. So it had all the elements, and I didn't summit that one, but I figured out quickly what I needed to do to summit, and then I started taking courses out west on Rainier, and just going all over the world to summit to climb whatever I could.
Do you get sponsors at all to sponsor you, or is this all you're doing, where you basically flip the bill for all this?
I foot the bill for most of it. My company sponsored an outfit for me, so they sponsored my my down suit, but that was all personal donations. The company itself couldn't sponsor me because I didn't have to sponsor everybody, that was enjoying their hobby. So no, I do it on my own.
Now, did you have to take any extra oxygen tanks with you or anything when you made the trip?
So you get oxygen, but you don't get oxygen until the third camp. Third camp's around 24,000 feet. Mm-hmm. So up until that point, you're climbing without oxygen, and then you take the oxygen from there to the top. But even with the oxygen, only brings you down about 3,000 feet. So it doesn't bring you to sea level, because a lot of people think it brings you right down to sea level, but it just helps you a little bit.
Wow. I mean, to be able to do that to me, and of course the recent bad press that Mount Everest just recently got with a couple of the climbers dying up there. And what do they do with the bodies? I mean, I'm sure they're going to be well preserved, unfortunately, but how long does it take for them to come down?
So we had a body part spit out while we were at base camp. In other words, a lot of people die in the ice fall, which is that area that's between the base camp and the first camp. So you have to get over the ice fall, and the ice fall is basically a frozen waterfall, so it's continuously moving. So people fall in it, it avalanches all the time. Mm-hmm. And so if you fall in it, you're stuck in it, and then you get ground up in it, and then about 15 or 20 years later, you get spit out. And so a leg got spit out while we were down there, and they identified it as a Russian climber. It still had the sock on, by the way. And so we had a lot of snow the year I went, so I didn't see a ton of bodies, but you do see, arms sticking out there, legs sticking out there. And someone died actually the night before our climb.
Wow. So
I had to, we all had to pass that dead body while we had met the guy, because that was the same year as the tsunami in Japan, and he was a Japanese climber, and he had come into our tents looking for donations for the tsunami victims. So we'd actually met him, and then he was found dead on the rope the night before, and there wasn't time to take care of his body. The Sherpa don't touch the bodies, so they either get cut down or the Western guides have to bring them down.
Wow. And I'll tell you what, this is something that you climbed 6 summits out of 7. What's the one that you missed?
It's Kosciuszko. It's in Australia. It's actually the lowest one, and so I thought I would do another climb in New Zealand before that one, where I broke my ankle, so I wasn't able to do that last one. But now I'm just gonna save it and try to do it with a bunch of friends, because it's not an actual climb. It's kind of a hike up. It just happens to be on Australia, so that would be the 7th summit.
Wow. I
have a quick question, if I may, as far as going back to how do you prepare yourself mentally for the possibility of dying first, and secondly, for what you potentially will see?
I got to tell you, I called a couple of veterans, and my sister's husband, Carl Hollister being one of them. He was the past supreme president of AHEPA. And I got a lot of advice from him, because they have to face those situations. Of course, I'm not comparing what I do to, their heroic
his
acts.
Military service. Right?
But what do you do when you're kind of faced with this possibility of death? And he just said, prepare, and just get in and get out as quickly as you can. And that's exactly what I did, actually. So all the vets gave me that similar advice. I did write a will while I was training back in November before I left in April, and I had that moment where during training that I thought I would the possibility of dying was there. So I broke out into hives. I got sick, and I had to decide at that point if I wanted to do it or not. So I decided to.
Well, I'll tell you what, just to have the guts to go ahead and do something. I've never ever push myself to something that I know that I could die. Of course, if I did something when I was drunk or stupid or whatnot, and that happened a lot of times. But to be able to what you've done and the accomplishments, and I want to open this up also to a lot of our viewers and listeners, because you are probably one of the most unique guests that we've ever had. And I wanted you on this show for so long because I was just so impressed with what you did. But we're going to have you on our next segment. So please stay with us. And for all of you, make sure that you do call us at 844-790-8255 or get your questions in via Facebook. But we got to do that sponsor thing. We'll be right back. You are on A Pinch of Basile.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now, back to the show.
Oh, so glad you can join us on A Pinch of Basile. We've been having some fun with Pamela here. We were my very special guest, Pamela Pappas. Thanks so much for joining us on Facebook. And don't forget, you all can call in or text as well. Please, folks, this is probably one of the most intriguing guests that we've ever had. And Dean Karnazes is another one who just boggles the mind because he doesn't get any lactic acid buildup, and which tires out the muscles, and he can run for days at a time and without stopping. And to me, these are, like you, extraordinary people who have done phenomenal things and basically have pushed your bodies to the limit. And you have no idea just how impressed I am. Was there ever a time, though, Pam, I got to ask you, we talk about death, and I laugh about death. I really do. It's all inevitable. We're all gonna. But was there ever a time that you really thought, this is it?
I've never been in that situation because I got to tell you that I really listen to the mountain and to the situation and to my body when I'm up there. So if there's something going majorly wrong, I'm turning around because I'm not gonna die, because they say that 3 things have to go wrong for you to die. And you normally get a warning for the first 2. So if you don't heed those warnings, then eventually you are gonna have an accident. I want to say I've been lucky, knock on wood, but I've also been smart, and I don't go up there untrained. Like, I'm not climbing anything now because I'm not in climbing shape. I'm not unfit, but climbing shape is a real mental acuity that you have to be super focused on what you're doing. Every step matters. Every place you put your hand, every time you clip into a rope, you have to be super focused. And so I haven't been in that situation. And there would have to be a couple things that would happen before. I mean, I haven't had a rope snap, but I've seen people die on a rope snap, and it's pretty tragic because that's the last thing you think is going to happen.
And you still, I'm sure your family would have rather you going to like model trains or something like that instead of you, instead of going ahead and climbing stuff like that. Did you always want to climb the tree next door? Did you always want to do that as a child? Oh yeah. So climbing trees is also part of my training, which I didn't realize. I had hired a trainer, and she gave me these crazy, every time I was with her, she was, okay, now we're going to do this. I'm like, I have never done that. She's like, you're going to do it today. And it was a great thing because you're problem solving. And if you have that confidence where you're going to go into a problem and be able to solve it on the fly, that's important. But I mean, you have kids, that you can't control what they love and what they don't love, and you want them to be happy overall. So if this is what makes them happy, you're going to let them do it, right? Yeah, I suppose, but I'll tell you what.
You're like, no.
To tell you the truth, if my daughter goes, hey, Dad, listen, I want to put myself on fire and travel like 100 miles an hour in a car and then explode with dynamite. Go with God. All right, go. Yes, of course.
You're like, get back in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, my.
When you come back off this great high, literally and figuratively, when you come back down, I mean, do you just sit there and marvel at your accomplishment? I mean, in a modest way, of course, but you're just saying, wow, I can't believe I just did that.
And no, you believe it after training for 10 months in a row, waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, training 6 hours a day, you believe that you made it. But what you don't anticipate is how sedate regular life is, right? Because you're up there for a month and a half, and you're at any time, even during the night, the mountain is avalanching, so you can die in your sleep up there even. And even base camp's up at 18,000 feet, and then when you're climbing, of course, your risk level goes up 20 times. But when you get back to home, it's what's your biggest risk? I mean, driving's a risk, right? So there's definitely an adrenaline lowering or adrenaline dump that you can't really get without being a criminal, when you get back to regular life. So I didn't anticipate that. No one ever talks about it, but it's a real thing. And I imagine that there's a lot of people that do sports that happens to, and maybe even the military, I'm not sure. But it's hard for people to understand that, you don't care if your purse and your shoes are matching because, like a week ago, you could have died if you clipped in wrong. So things just have a different importance. So it's been hard. I'm not sure I'm totally recovered from it, honestly.
Wow.
It's hard for me to get excited about dangerous things anymore. So,
is there anything else that you want to do to say that you have accomplished this? Now, what's next? I mean, besides the seventh summit that you haven't done in Australia, what's next?
So, I'm going to continue climbing. I'm going to, get back into climbing shape and climb again. And, I secretly, and I don't want to announce this on the radio, but I secretly have a desire to, land on the moon. Doesn't everyone? Everyone does, right?
To be honest with you, I watched The Honeymooners, and Jackie Gleason always wanted to send his wife to the moon.
It's a little different.
It's a little different, yeah, just a touch. I just find it amazing that to be able to go ahead and do this. What do you do then? It's like sometimes when you find someone who's done the most impossible thing, everything else is mundane after that, and you're like, what now? And so it's like you're always trying to push.
Are there other members of your family that do similar types of things or want to do similar types of things like you? Are you
not even close?
Not even close.
No,
it's not in the blood.
Not in the blood. Not at all in the blood. Yeah. And I have been looking, actually, terrestrially speaking, I have been looking at, doing some charities and, tree planting and, a little bit of guiding and stuff. But, overall, it's hard to set a goal that I'd be focused on like that.
I got a question, though. I hope I didn't interrupt you, but I got to ask this. Since you mentioned space, if the government saw you're in tip-top physical shape, you're extremely brilliant, would you ever consider doing something even though you would have to basically say goodbye to your family, would you ever consider going to, if they ever wanted to do a Mars probe or something to deal with NASA where they did go to space, would you consider that?
Haven't you been for 7 days during Christmas with your family? And you're asking that question? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be okay. I'd leave right after Christmas because that's when we're all, had enough.
Yeah, but see, these people who are with the radio, Craig and Janice, they're white people. They don't understand what these Greeks go through. Okay.
I probably would have to wait, until my parents were much, much older. Or,
I always thought it would be interesting. It was kind of funny. I did a post because my father wound up having the restaurant right next door to Calverton where they had where they built the lunar module in New York at Grumman's.
Wow.
And my father would wake up at 2:30, the poor guy, would 2:30 in the morning and make dozens and dozens of donuts, because there was no Dunkin' Donuts back then or any type of donut shop back then. You had to physically make these donuts, and the whole restaurant smelled like a bakery, and they were going crazy. And my father was making breakfast sandwiches, and he was doing it. And I thought my father was just as important than those people who went up to space because he was part of that team. But I always thought with someone like you being in the great shape that you would. I mean, has NASA ever approached you?
No, I mean, there's a lot of people that climb, and there's a lot of people that have climbed Everest, and I'm sure they take different type of scientist stuff. I haven't tried, but it's on my mind. I don't know if I'd go up there for the remainder of my life, like you were saying, but it would be interesting. I mean, that whole adventure of going into space is pretty interesting.
I mean, you'd have to have a life supply of moussaka and pastizo just to make that trip up there.
That goes without saying. They probably could use it for fuel. They could probably actually put it in the tank.
You probably could. That's for sure.
Okay, so I've got a quick question here from, and I think this is Father Elias George Villas.
Yes.
Forgive the personal question. After seeing what you saw and experiencing such amazing things, when you see great and magnificent sights, does it strengthen your faith?
Great question.
So I'm a spiritual person in a way that I think the whole universe is connected. Of course, in that moment of when I'm climbing, it's not the time, to sit down and think about it. But you have to be impressed with the majesty of what this planet is, the mountains and the seas that we have, the trees and the, just the air that we breathe and the amazing things that are on this planet. So it's hard not to be spiritual and so humbled in those moments, for sure.
Yeah, where you actually sat there at the top of the world and looked down and say, "Oh my God, there is a real God who have created this." And I give you all the credit in the world, kid. Pamela, first of all, thank you so much for being with us. Father Elias, my good friend whom I love, that was a great question. I hope, and I really mean this with all sincerity, that you can come on the show again. You're probably my favorite guest that I've had on it, and I've had a lot of great guests, and you are just fantastic. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very, very, very welcome. Folks, that was, by the way, Pamela, do you have a website or a quick email or anything like that people can go to?
Like I said, I'm not a publicity kind of person, so I don't promote.
But if you search, you can find the story about you still online. So if you want to know more, you can always search Pamela Pappas, and you'll be able to find something.
That's right. Don't forget, every week on Tuesdays from 6 to 7 New York City time, we can be heard all around the world on AmericaMatters.us. If you're using the TuneIn app, just go ahead and search America Matters and be sure to keep it as one of your favorites. Questions and comments for the Basile fans on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Basile Fans, BASILEFANS. You can always call us at 844-790-8255. Thank you so much again, Pam, for being part of our show. And for all of our listeners and viewers, thank you all so much